This is the Eastern Idaho weather hazard briefing for Tuesday, January 10th. So key points to go over this morning is that we are expecting some snow, mainly for southeast Idaho this morning. A break in the action for the afternoon hours before another round of mainly snow, perhaps mixing in with a little bit of rain in the Snake River Plain moves in for this evening and into Wednesday morning. So just looking at our satellite image, you see our first system is moving through Nevada. That is going to bring our precipitation to the region this morning. Our second system is starting to already move onshore, and that will arrive tonight. Our weather risk outlook is mainly highlighted for the Snake Plain and our southeast and eastern highlands. Looks like any accumulations we get outside of those areas will be pretty light. This is our current watches and warnings in effect, and mainly our advisories are in effect for the eastern highlands. And those are in effect for this afternoon, or for this morning, and also again for tonight going into Wednesday as well. So this is looking at our model reflectivity for starting off at 6 a.m. and you see a band of snow extending roughly from just east of Burley, where the temperatures might be just a little bit too warm down there to support snow still, extending through Pocatello, Blackfoot, and then off into the eastern highlands. Some areas inside this band are going to have some pretty decent snowfall rates, so folks around Soda Springs, Malad, Montpelier, Preston, you could see some pretty decent snow pile up in a hurry down in those areas this morning. It is interesting to note that this band of precipitation is actually a little further south than we were expecting yesterday. We were expecting this to be a little bit further to the northwest. It's further south, so as a result, our snowfall amounts for Idaho Falls, Rexburg, even up towards Island Park, are a little bit less than we were anticipating. This is looking at our reflectivity at 9 a.m. and you see, even by then, stuff is starting to already move off into the eastern highlands, so it's a very quick, brief time this morning where we have to deal with snow. And then we get a break from about noon all the way out to about 4 or 5 p.m. this afternoon. You see our next precipitation starting to move in. Looks pretty scattered, mainly affecting the Snake Plain, a little bit moving into the southern highlands. As we go into the early evening hours, you see it trying to become a little bit more widespread. It's going to become most notable down across the southern and southeast highlands. That's where we're expecting a track of low pressure to move through, and that's where we're expecting really the better organization to the snow field to be. You are seeing some greens and maybe some pinks in there. We're expecting some mixed precipitation, still combating some warmer temperatures down in the lower elevations. As we head towards midnight, we are expecting most areas then to switch to from rain or rain-snow mix to all snow at that point. And we are expecting our snow to mainly be, the heavier snow to be in the darker blues here down across the southeast highlands. A little bit of light snow possible up in the central mountains. But notice we are seeing this axis of snow extending from the southern highlands out across towards the Arco region. And that's a very interesting feature. Some indications are shown, some models are showing that could be a little bit heavier, some not so much. So we need to keep a close eye on that. As we go to 3 a.m. Overnight hours, once again, you're seeing this axis of snow trying to kind of light up in some of the models. And so once again, from Pocatello, American Falls to Pocatello and all the way up the Snake Plain, probably want to be on alert during the overnight hours for this area. That could be a little bit heavier than we're guessing. Right now, we're thinking maybe there could be a couple inches of snowfall that falls out of that. Much higher amounts down here in the southeast highlands, but we'll get to that here in a second. And then by 6 a.m., you're still seeing that snow lingering around, starting to try to push out of the South Highlands and more into the eastern highlands. By 9 a.m., it's moving more into the Rexburg, Driggs, Island Park region, continues through about noon, and then by 3 p.m., by mid to late afternoon, that snow should be departing eastern Idaho. So looking at our high temperature forecast for today, still rather warm once we get that break in the action. looking at temperatures in the mid 30s all the way up into close to 40 in many areas. Our wind gusts this afternoon are a little bit less than what we experienced yesterday, but maybe in some areas still possible to drift around some snow. And this is looking at our snowfall forecast for the remainder of the day. Looking at Pocatello, it's right on the edge of where the cold air could set up this morning. So an inch or two is possible. A lot of uncertainty there. More certainty as we head north and east. Just looks like Idaho Falls. I know you're all just going to kind of miss a lot of this snow. Better accumulations are really going to be around McCammon, Soda Springs, Montpelier, Preston, Malad. You know, here we're looking at anywhere between a couple inches and maybe as much as 4 to 6 inches still possible, mainly this morning. Just sort of looking at our low temperature forecast for tonight as our temperatures go into the upper 20s to near freezing. And our wind gusts tonight, now it's important to note that during the evening hours, the winds may not be too bad. We're expecting the winds to ramp up as that low gets very close to the area, mainly during the overnight hours. And then this is looking at our snowfall forecast for tonight. So once again, Southeast Highlands looks like you guys are the big winners on this event. Widespread 2 to 4, 2 to 5 inches. And some of the higher peaks, 6 inches or better is possible. So especially those higher mountain passes, going to be quite busy there. And then interestingly, as we go out across the desert, we're dealing with problems with the temperatures. We're dealing with how strong the snowfall actually is in this area. So a lot of variability, a lot of uncertainty out across the Snake River Plain. Broad brush, we had to say probably 1 to 3 inches out this way. Craters, you might do a little bit better because the higher elevation might get a certain 2 to 4 out that way. And up in our central mountain areas, looking at probably just an inch or two. And then our high temperatures as we go into Wednesday, generally looking at widespread 30s to low 40s. And our winds still rather breezy, especially in the morning in the wake of that system as it passes off into Wyoming. And then this is looking at a residual snowfall amounts for Wednesday, generally just looking at a couple inches as this system winds up. Most of the action will probably be just before dawn on Wednesday morning. So to summarize, looking at 2 rounds of snow, one affecting southeast Idaho this morning, breaking the action for the afternoon, and then another round of mainly snow mixing in with some rain and the lower elevations arriving this evening and again continuing over into Wednesday. We do expect there will be probably a change over to all snow everywhere during the overnight hours. So if you have any questions or comments, here's our information and please let us know. Thank you.